Podcast, as promised. Felt this week was the perfect time to start the podcast, given that we just had the Microsoft Xbox games showcase. Sorry for that brain fart right there. I had to check my notes again for what it was called. But yeah, I figured that'd be the perfect time to do the first podcast because, we've got a lot to talk about in games. Like, Xbox was kind of left for dead a couple months ago when they started porting things over to the PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch. But it seems like they're coming back with some games. I mean, Microsoft as a game studio and making games is still alive, and maybe even as a hardware manufacturer with stuff they talked about in the showcase. But yeah, so I wanted to make this first podcast about that because a lot of cool stuff got announced. Some surprises, not a lot of surprises. A lot of this stuff is either stuff we knew that was coming, a la Call of Duty, Indiana Jones, and then stuff that was heavily rumored to be there, like a new Gears of War game, and of course, like Doom: The Dark Ages was confirmed, kind of thing like that. I mean, it had leaked about it, but we kind of all knew that was coming, but finally confirmed. But so one cool thing about this is, and this goes for me being a Game Pass subscriber, is 18 games that were shown are day one exclusives, and those include Call of Duty Black Ops 6, I think it is now, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Maybe Indiana Jones was going to be the game I was most excited for, but Gears of War E-Day, which looks fantastic. That got me excited. Gears 4 was kind of cool. Gears 5 was okay. I'm a huge original Gears trilogy fan and Judgment Day. Me and my buddies played that all the time when it came out. So going back to E-Day is really cool. I'm going to cover that more in detail soon. I just finished this list. Doom: The Dark Ages, Avowed, Flight Simulator 2024, Stalker 2, Age of Mythology Retold, The New Fable, Mixtape Perfect Dark, Expedition 33, South of Midnight, State of Decay 3, Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers, Autumn Fall, Flintlock, and Winterborough. I was a little surprised that Golden Road isn't going to be... Well, I don't play Elder Scrolls Online, so maybe the DLC is free. Maybe you got to pay for it. A little shocked that that didn't have some sort of Game Pass mechanic attached to it. Same with Fallout 76, Skyline Valley. But, we'll kind of get to some of those things as we go. Also the World of Warcraft, The War Within, given that that's a Blizzard Activision game and Xbox owns them, you would think. But maybe that's not even coming to console. Xbox, so it should be coming to console. I don't know. But yeah, so I've just got these listed in order, not order of appearance, but just kind of certain order. I'm going to kind of go down and talk about my reactions, my thoughts to them. First up, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I haven't been a Call of Duty fan since the 360. I don't think I've ever bought one on the Xbox One. I know I got some for my son, but I don't think I've actually ever played once they got over to the Xbox One. It was just one of those things. I was kind of moving away from that kind of shooter, and the stories were kind of hit or miss, kind of thing like that. But I mean, you bought a Call of Duty to play it online, and my friends and I, we weren't really playing those kind of games anymore. We moved into like the hero shooter realm of Overwatch, things like that. So this one does kind of intrigue me. It goes back to the 90s and the Gulf War. I remember being a kid during the first Gulf War. I was in elementary school, and I remember just seeing about it on the news, the fall of the Berlin Wall. So this kind of intrigues me going back to that, because the previous Black Ops games were like, Vietnam, stuff that happened before I was born, things like that. So something that I was alive for and witnessed through a different lens since I was a child and now I'm an adult. That would be kind of cool to re-experience. It's a heavy download though, 306 megabytes, I think. I will probably play, it's going to be on Game Pass. I will play this game. I'll probably stream it too, give some thoughts. Maybe I'll even stream multiplayer, watching me get my ass handed to me. That could make for some good content. But definitely kind of a cool look at it. I did not watch the special Call of Duty follow-up to the game showcase. Had stuff to do yesterday. Plus, me not being a Call of Duty guy, that it would probably be way over my head. So kind of passed on that one. But I am super excited for this game. Super excited is a little overstated. I am excited. I'm intrigued for it. definitely gonna try it out when it drops. I think this fall. So yeah, so that's Call of Duty. It's more Call of Duty. It's gonna sell, well, maybe not sell as much since it's coming to Game Pass, but should be a lot of Game Pass players. I can see a lot of Game Pass subscriptions spiking during that time, so people can play it. And then they might, unlike like a 30-day pass to watch a season for like Netflix or Disney Plus, like people might stick around for this because they'll see the value in all the games. Like that's one thing I love about Game Pass, and especially having Game Pass for 2025, where you just, I think I gotta do the math again because I know they've raised prices, but kind of literally you play 2 day one games, like really play them games you would have bought anyways, and Game Pass is paid for itself. So Game Pass in 2025 is definitely going to pay for itself. Last year in 2023, it paid for itself. 2024, I don't think so. I don't know if I've played any games that I would have bought on Game Pass in 2024 yet. So that remains to be seen for 2024, but 2025, definitely. Next up, we got Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now, this is supposed to be a 2024 release. It's supposed to be sometime this summer. I think when we did the showcase, like the Bethesda showcase and stuff like that, I thought it was supposed to come out in July. Here at the Xbox Game Showcase, it just said 2024, no solid release. So hopefully, I would still love to get it this summer because, with the exception of my backlog, I don't think there are any new releases coming that I'm ready to play this summer. So having that Indiana Jones game drop on Game Pass would be great. It would be nice if it would have been a shadow drop, like, oh, and it's available today, a la the Sega Saturn. But I'm excited for this. It looks and feels like Indiana Jones. It's by Machine Games. They do all the Wolfenstein games, so those are fun. So I trust them to make a good Indiana Jones game. It's just one of those things, like, I don't know, playing an indie game, I think I'd rather have it in third person so I could see indie. But I mean, it looks to have a lot of cutscenes, and the cutscenes look good. Troy Baker is doing the voice. Yeah, it's Troy Baker, not Nolan. Yeah, Troy Baker is doing the. I always confuse Troy Baker and Nolan North, man. Those two guys, because they do so many voices in video games. It's like, which one did this one there? But no, it's Troy Baker. He does. It's enough to sound like Harrison Ford, but you know it's not Harrison Ford. So that's kind of cool. One thing I'd like, and it'll probably never happen, but this would be a very cool, like, maybe DLC to this game, or maybe kind of like an offshoot, if you could do like a Tom Selleck skin. Because for those of you who don't know, Tom Selleck was originally cast as Indiana Jones, but due to conflicting schedules with filming Magnum PI, he couldn't do the role. And it's kind of hard to think of these days, like, oh, Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones. But Tom Selleck is a dude. Like, he would have killed that role. Like, if you watch Magnum PI, or any kind of like, or Quigley Down Under, you can see that adventure or action star in Tom Selleck. And it would have been a different Indiana Jones than Harrison Ford because, you know, I'm a huge Indy fan, a huge Harrison Ford fan, and a huge Tom Selleck fan. Don't sleep on Mr. Baseball. Check that out. It's hard to imagine somebody else in that role, but if anybody else could have made that an iconic role, I think it would have been Tom Selleck, especially if he had the mustache for it. So yeah, it would be kind of cool if Machine Games kind of did like a DLC pack where you could just change the mapping, or maybe modders. I will get this game on PC if you modders can mod in Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones. I will get that. But it would still be cool if they did like Tom Selleck DLC and either got Tom Selleck to voice the character or got someone who could do a pretty good Tom Selleck impression to do the character. I think that would be really cool. But this definitely feels like an Indiana Jones movie, more so than what Disney has given us with Dial of Destiny, which just, I don't know, CGI fest, it just doesn't feel like indie. But maybe it's, you can't make an Indiana Jones film today because it would rely too much on CGI. And that was kind of the fun of the original Indiana Jones movies. It was pretty much all practical. And it just, you need that because it's a serialized, it's, you know, a take on the old serials from the 30s and 40s. So having CGI effects and stuff like that just kind of doesn't work. Like Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls, I actually liked the first 3/4 of that movie. And then towards the end with the jungle chase and the over-reliance on CGI for that and the aliens just kind of takes me out of it. It doesn't feel like an indie. But this feels like an indie. I kind of wish, like, since it's a video game, we would have brought back Short Round as his sidekick. Definitely could have done it. I mean, I can't think of the actor's name who played Short Round off the top of my head, but I'm sure he could try to do the voice again. I know he's an adult now, so it'd be kind of harder. But I mean, I saw everything all at once, and he still sounds like that, just older. And maybe they can do audio magic. But no, that would have been cool. Maybe we get a Tom Selleck with Short Round, Indiana Jones DLC pack. That'd be cool. But moving on. Indiana Jones, as soon as it drops, day one, and I will probably stream that because my buddy Keenan, who loves to watch story games, will probably be down for that. So that will be a day one stream, and that'll probably be one of those games where I probably beat it in like less than a week because I'm just gonna play it whenever I get a chance. Next up, we got Gears of War E-Day. This is what closed the show. It was like, oh, we're gonna show you these new Xbox. Oh, and one more thing. So yeah, I was wondering. I think a lot of people were when it started out. Is this a flashback? Because you knew that wasn't old Marcus fighting that grunt. So like, is this a flashback? Is it not? And then it just kind of goes on. He's having trouble. He gets the retro lancer to finish him off, to finish him off, not the chainsaw lancer. And then you see Dom help him up. So it's like, oh, Dom's back. And I'm excited for this because, as I was saying at the start of the podcast, the two new Gears of War, 5 and 6, they're okay. I mean, they feel like Gears of War, but you know, once you play it without Marcus Phoenix, without Dom, without Baird, without Coltrane, you're just like, it just doesn't feel right. It's just slightly off. Kind of like Halo 5 doesn't really feel like a Halo game. So I'm glad to see they're going back to that now. I remember talking a while ago with friends saying I would love a Gears game set in the Pendulum Wars because we hear about that. That's before Emergence Day, so that would have been kind of cool. But to me, this is the next best thing. We see the start of E-Day, so we can kind of get to it. I kind of hope this leads into maybe we get a remastered collection of the first 3 Gears. So I don't know how many E-Day games they have planned. If it's just the one, and then we're going back to Gear 6, or if there's going to be a series of E-Day games. But whenever they're done telling this E-Day story, it would be really cool if we got a remastered of the Gears of War, so we can kind of just, you can't see my hands, string the whole story together. So, but I'm totally excited for this. I think it's got, I don't think they released even like a year release date for this. Hopefully next year. But since this was all cinematic, it was in-game engine, but it was all cinematic trailer. Probably not going to be for a while. I mean, maybe if we're lucky next holiday season, but maybe this might be a 2026 thing. But I am super stoked for this one. That will be a day one download and something I play. Maybe the boys and I haven't played a Gears of War game online in years. Maybe we get back in the saddle and see if we can play online shooters and not get our asses handed to us by the kids. Maybe the kids won't even be playing this. Maybe it'll just be old Gears fans playing this one. And then next up, the rumored and fulfilled Doom: The Dark Ages. So just the thought of this, I was like, oh, Doom guy, sword, shield. That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is just going to be awesome. Just melees, whatever. It's going to be cool. Maybe some sort of kick-ass crossbow, bow and arrow kind of thing for projectiles. But nope, they went one better. And they gave him the shotgun right off the giddy up. A chainsaw shield that he can throw and wield like Iron Man. Not Iron Man. Like Captain America. And then you get a mech suit and a dragon with laser wings. I mean, there's not much more to say about this. This one is 2025. It was just flipping metal, man. Just something so cool. This might be for 2025. There's some good games coming out that are announced for next year, but Doom: The Dark Ages just might be that game. I just hope it doesn't give me the same anxiety that Doom Eternal gave me, man. There were some of those rooms that you got into and you were just like literally fighting for your life, that I was just like, I'm not prone to panic attacks, but I felt like I was going to have a panic attack playing those games. So, super excited for Doom: The Dark Ages. Next up, Avowed from Obsidian. Everyone knows them from New Vegas, Fallout New Vegas, and they also did Outer Worlds. 2 great games. I might be in the minority here. I actually like Outer Worlds more than I like New Vegas. It was a little more kooky, or something about it being out in space. I don't know. I just thought that was really, really cool. Avowed kind of looks like almost their take on the Elder Scrolls, but a little bit different. Like they're not leaning too heavy, kind of like how Outer Worlds felt like it was could have been a Fallout game, also kind of thing. And so this is their next game. Maybe if this does really well, maybe since they're both owned by Microsoft, they're like, hey, maybe we get another Fallout game if Bethesda's too busy working on Starfield or Fallout 76 and just can't give us a new Fallout game. And I mean, if I'm Bethesda, if I'm Microsoft, I am gearing up to have some sort of new Fallout game for Season 2 of Fallout. I mean, maybe they didn't think Fallout was going to be such a hit on Amazon Prime, but you got to think when Season 2 comes out, which, given the way like these kind of epic, dramatic, action-packed TV shows are, we'll probably see the next Fallout season probably 2026. So there you go, Bethesda. Clock's ticking. 2 years. Get us a new Fallout game by then. And if you can't do it, hey, Obsidian, they're about to launch Avowed. They might have some free time on their hands. Maybe they can do a Fallout New Vegas 2, especially since it looks like the Season 2 is going to take place in New Vegas. So maybe we got kind of like some synergy there. The games kind of coincide a little bit. It doesn't have to be Fallout 5, since apparently like there were rumors that, you know, there were certain things that the show couldn't do because it could conflict with Fallout 5. So maybe we get another New Vegas. Maybe we get like a sequel to New Vegas, the video game, but a prequel to this. So we kind of fill in the gap between to see what happened in New Vegas, because it kind of looked in ruins at the end of Season 1 Fallout. So, I mean, I'm just spitballing here. I mean, much like I was giving you Bethesda, I was giving you some ideas for some DLC for Indiana Jones, some free ideas for Fallout New Vegas 2 or New Vegas spin-off, something like that. Free ideas. You don't even have to credit me. I just want to play the game. So, again, another day one game I'm probably going to play. Not as high up on my list as like Gears, Indie, Doom, just because if there's other things that I'm playing when Avowed comes out, that might be one I put on the back burner. Though I did kind of drop everything to play Outer Worlds when it came out. So, I mean, we'll see. If it's getting like a ton of great reviews and it's like, oh, you got to play this game, then maybe I'll start playing it when it drops. We'll see. Next up, Flight Sim 2024. It's a flight sim game. Those games have always looked gorgeous. They've always been state of the art. For me, they've been kind of boring. And I'm not saying that in as like I get why people play it. There's kind of a serene relaxingness to it. But I mean, it's one of those things like you just kind of fly in a straight line when you're like just flying like regular planes. Like I know I saw in the trailer there's some stunt planes and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. But the base game is you fly a plane. You pick your route, you fly it, which is something that would be fun and exciting in real life. But when you're just kind of staring at a screen, keeping the nose and wings level, kind of lose me a little bit. So, I mean, I'm not excited for this. The last Flight Sim, whatever year that was, maybe it was 2020, I downloaded, I played for a little bit, but it wasn't worth the hard drive space I took up from Game Pass for it. I just played it for a couple hours and then got rid of it. I mean, maybe it's a game I downloaded and I played during the podcast like we used to do during the old Clash of the Nerds days. But yeah, so that's that. Next up, World of Warcraft, The War Within. I don't think there was any gameplay in this. I think that was all in-engine footage, and I'm not a World of Warcraft guy. It's not going to drop on Game Pass, so I'm not going to play it because I'm not going to spend money on it. But if you're a World of Warcraft fan, something to get excited for. Dragon Age: The Veilguard. So this is kind of like one of those, it's not on Game Pass day one, but at the same time, if EA Access grants you the first 10 hours for free like they usually do, since it's an EA game, kind of is day one. So if that's the case, I'll probably try it out, and if I like it, I'll buy it. I like Age of Inquisition, so another Dragon Age game, pretty cool. I like the art style with it. It's less serious and less like trying to be real as last one, and more kind of cartoony, kind of leading into a World of Warcraft style art style. So I do dig the art style for it. Something pretty cool looking. Again, if it's on EA Access the first 10 hours to play, I'll probably definitely check it out and play it. And again, if I like it, I'll use that 10% discount they give you for having EA access and probably pick it up. If it's not on EA early access, then I'll probably wait till it goes to the vault, which is usually sometimes like 6 to 10 months. So I'll probably pick it up and play it then, because again, I like the last Dragon Age game, so I'll play a new one. And this one seems to have pretty cool looking characters that seem pretty quirky and fun, so definitely something to check out. Then we have Assassin's Creed Shadows. I will link the video that I talked about the controversy for this game somewhere. Maybe put up a card. I haven't done cards in a while, so maybe I'll put up a card for this. But at the very least, I'll have the video linked at the end of this podcast for you to check it out. See kind of my thoughts on that. It's an Assassin's Creed game. If you're a fan of those games, it looks like more of that, except with Samurai and Ninja. So you should be excited about that. If you're not an Assassin's Creed game person like I am, easy skip. And that's what it's going to be for me. I've tried to get into the Assassin's Creed series. Every couple of years, I try the new one, and I'm just like, nope, not for me. Next up, Stalker 2. Looks like a pretty cool, fun shooter. It's another one of those day one Game Pass, so I'll probably give it a try. I haven't played Stalker 1. I'll have to see if that's on Game Pass at all, and maybe I'll give it a try. Maybe it's a game series that I'll enjoy. I mean, I honestly don't know. I know of the Stalker series, but have never played it. The trailer looked really cool. Something interesting. Again, Game Pass. I have Game Pass for the foreseeable future. So again, something I might try out. Age of Mythology Retold. If you like turn-based strategy games, this one might be right up your alley. Those are kind of games I kind of get into. Like I'm kind of more into the lesser vibe of those, like the Advanced Wars, like where it's kind of like not quite as difficult, not quite as serious strategy. I can get down with those. I do remember Age of Mythology when it originally released, and my buddy was super into it. I thought it looked cool at the time. It looks even cooler now, but again, I'm not a RTS kind of guy, so this would be kind of a pass for me. But you know, for those RTS folks that are still out there, Game Pass, man, try it. And boom, we got Fable, the return of Fable. It's been about 10 years since we got our last Fable game, and it's a shame that like Fable's not under Peter Molyneux anymore, because I always loved the over promising that Fable always was. As a game series I never got into, just never played it. I had a buddy, Kevin, loves the Fable game, so he doesn't play many games now, but I bet this would probably get him back to playing. It does look like a lot of fun. I mean, Game Pass game, so I'll probably it's not gonna be a priority for me to play if I'm playing other things or doing other things, but I'll definitely check it out. Hopefully, the closer we get to release, and this is another one of those games where it's got an average-looking female protagonist, and people are just bitching about that. And it's just not every protagonist has to be super sexy Bayonetta kind of thing. And I don't know how this game was made. Like, if they it was like a committee. Oh, we got to have our character look like this. I mean, maybe they went through a bunch of designs, and this is the character they like because they wanted like someone average looking. Like they want, because that's the whole point of an avatar for these like role playing style games. You want someone that the average person who's going to play the game can just get lost in. Like, think Link from The Legend of Zelda. Especially like the original games. I mean, you can kind of more design him now because people are kind of hooked in there. But even now, he's not overly anything. He's just kind of average build. He's like elf looking, but there's nothing super special about his look. And that's how we get lost in that avatar. That's kind of what Miyamoto always kind of wanted for Link. That's why it was one of the first games where you could rename the character, because he wanted you to be Link. So you just put your name instead of Link as the title character. So I think people get too obsessed sometimes with character models, especially for like, this is not a new IP, but the Fable games, you're a different person every time. Again, I didn't play them, but I know it's all about decisions. You can be good, evil, things like that. So I would tend to lean towards character creation. Like, one thing I love about Fallout 4, and a lot of the Fallout games, you can pick man or woman, and same with Starfield, and you create the character to look how you want it to look, and there's still voice acting. Like, again, they only have like a male and female voice for your character, and you can kind of give them whatever you want. Same with Cyberpunk. I always think with these role-playing games, that's the best route to take, so we can get even more lost because we can design that character however we want it to look, whether we want it to look like us or we want to make something completely crazy. But yeah, the bitching and the moaning about the character looks where she's too ugly, it's kind of ridiculous. And just people need to let it go. And I want to skip over mixtape for a second. I'll come back to that because this leads me perfectly into the first comment I have about the new Perfect Dark game, where Johanna, her face is a little bit more fuller. She's not as sleek and sexy as she looked for game art, I should say, for the Nintendo 64 version with the short dark hair, or her redhead look for the Xbox 360 version of the game. She does have the red hair that she had in the 360 version, but it's kind of like her face looked a little bit fuller, and you don't really get a full body shot like most you see. She's kind of in like jump gear, so there's no like real silhouette. So I'm sure there's already going to be complaints about her facial structure when the game released. I've only seen like one or two things on Twitter so far, but when that game gets more promotion, things like that, I'm sure people are going to bitch about it. But the game looks awesome. Do have some questions about bringing Perfect Dark. Is it because Microsoft owns the IP where they can just slap it on a game and boom, it's Perfect Dark? Because there really hasn't been much to it. Like the original Perfect Dark was made because Rare lost the GoldenEye license because it was a spiritual successor to GoldenEye. They were going to do kind of a GoldenEye 2. They lost, or I don't know if they lost the license or Nintendo lost the license. I don't know who had the license to make the games. So they made Perfect Dark using kind of it's more of an updated engine to the GoldenEye, and it was just that spiritual successful to GoldenEye. And then of course, we all know Rare was bought by Microsoft, and they did a Perfect Dark game for the 360. I think it was a launch title, or at least it was in that launch window, and it flopped hard. I never played it because by the time I got my 360, so many people had panned it, I didn't even give it a try, even though I like the N64 game, which I'll be playing on my channel on Twitch and then uploading to YouTube at some point. I'm trying to stay within the release dates of those games, but so it's kind of one of those things like, why bring this IP back? Why not make this a new IP? But I guess it's an IP, it's a name. People know Perfect Dark. People my age have a sentimentality towards Perfect Dark, so they would kind of want a new Perfect Dark game. I'm a little sad that Rare's not making it, but at the same time, there's probably no one left from Rare that worked on the first two Perfect Dark games, so that's kind of moot there. So I mean, whether it's Rare or not, these aren't the type of games Rare has been making, not since the N64 and the 360. Literally, they've been making what was that pirate game, Sea of Thieves, and they made that weird Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts game. But yeah, so we got a new Perfect Dark coming out. It looks really cool. It looks like you can change your weapon on the fly, whether you want to stun people, kill people, things like that. That's a day one game play for me. Again, sentimentality towards the name Perfect Dark. Hopefully it's a good game. I don't care what Joanna looks like in the game because it's a first person shooter. I'm not going to see what she looks like except for probably some cutscenes. If there are too many cutscenes in that game. I mean, it's a first person shooter. Even in cutscenes, a lot of time you're still in that first person perspective, like Call of Duty does that all the time. So, I mean, looks like a cool game. Hopefully it's a fun game. Hopefully we get from this this whole like social agenda when it comes to games, just make good games and let's all not comment about it. Let's not care. Let's just play fun games together. So I'm going to swing back to number 13, which is Mixtape. Weird looking game, really hitting the nostalgia factor with that soundtrack they got. I think the trailer opened with Devo. Not quite sure what the game is. Like, it looks like you are a group of 3 friends and you're just kind of going on an adventure together. Interesting looking game. Game Pass, so I might play it. That'll be one of those games where it's like, we'll see what the reviews are, and if people are raving about it, something like a Stardew Valley, where people are just all obsessed with Stardew Valley, and I've really liked the Harvest Moon games when I was growing up, so boom, I got Stardew Valley and enjoyed it. So the mixtape will probably fall into that same category if a lot of people are really raving about it, especially like people I trust with their opinions on video games. Definitely might be a pickup for me. My only worry about a game like Mixtape is like how long until like the license for some of the songs it has runs out, and if it's like really heavily relied on the soundtrack, a la like a Guardians of the Galaxy type movie. How long till like some of the nostalgia wears off if we lose songs for that. So, but yeah, kind of, it's got a cool little art style to it. Definitely something worth like keeping an eye on when it comes out. I think that one's a this year release. And then Expedition 33 is a turn-based strategy where it looks like some button prompts to like really do some like super moves, kind of like anybody who watched me play through like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, where it's like you do a move and then it prompts you to hit like Y or X, and then the move would, like if you hit it at the right time, the move would have more damage. That looks like to have something with that with the combat. Kind of a weird painting thing. Like I couldn't hear all of the trailer. Like that was kind of doing some exposition, but it's like there's this paintress, and every 33 years she wakes up and paints, and then people kind of vanish, a la the Snap from Infinity War. So it definitely looks like a cool game, and being that it's a turn-based RPG, which we don't get a lot of these days, and I'm a huge fan of that JRPG turn-based RPG style. That is something I'm definitely going to download when it comes out. Like I gotta go wish list a bunch of these things on my Game Pass just so they automatically download when they come out. Definitely a game I'm excited for. It looks really cool. Got a really distinct art look to it. It's like kind of like a post-colonial French look to how everyone's dressed in the uniforms and things like that. So awesome looking game. South of Midnight, I am struggling to think of what that was. I didn't get a chance to write a note on it, so did not leave that much of an impression on me. I think I'm picturing the logo for it now, but I cannot think of the trailer, so we're gonna skip that one. State of Decay 3, another game series I'm not familiar with. I know of the game series, I know what it's about. I don't play it, even though this will be a Game Pass game. Probably skip it. It's a zombie game. I just don't care about zombies anymore. That ship has sailed for me a long time ago. I'd like a new take on the zombie franchise, like medieval zombies, where you have a sword and shield and bow and arrows. Old West zombies, kind of like Red Dead Redemption, Nightmare, that DLC expansion pack. Something, because I don't know, the whole zombie thing and modern hellscapes, apocalypse, it's just kind of played out to me now. There's almost no new takes on that. I think the really last new take that got me excited was like the Dead Rising games, as far as zombies go. So that's a pass for me. So we get a Souls-like game next up with Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Just some cool little gameplay shots of it, mostly a cinematic trailer. That looks awesome. I am not the best at Souls games, just because being a dad, full-time job, coaching, trying to do this YouTube thing, I've got so much on my plate, it's hard to get good at these games, like mastering the parry system and everything like that. So it's a game I'm going to try out, much like I've tried out Neo, and I love Neo, mostly because of the setting. Well, I mean, it's a good game, but I mean, I tried it out knowing it was Souls-like because it was Neo. Sekiro, I always talked about trying out, but it never hit that price point for me to buy and never came to Game Pass or anything like that. I've never played a Souls game, so just don't want to break a controller, just get frustrated with that. Elder Scrolls, not Elder Scrolls, oh shit, I'm blanking. You know the one that From Software just did, Souls like Elder Ring, yeah. I keep, much like Sekiro, I want to play it, but I'm waiting for a price point because I know it's going to frustrate me that I'm either going to love and continue to play like I did Neo, or it's going to piss me off and I'm just going to quit playing. So those are like $20 and lower games. So if that ever hits that $20 mark, boom, that might be right up my alley. But no, that looks really cool, and because it's going to be on Game Pass, I'll download it, I'll give it a try. If it's too frustrating for me, where I don't feel like I want to get good at it, I'll probably just let it go and go on to something else. But it's definitely going to be something I try, and probably stream so you can watch me die a lot and get frustrated. Again, good content, watching an old guy suck at video games. Then we have Elder Scrolls Golden Road expansion, DLC. Looks pretty cool if you're an Elder Scrolls Online fan. Or you play the game. I don't do MMOs, just don't have the time to invest in those. I did have a girlfriend when Elder Scrolls Online first came out. She tried to get me into it. I was like, I coach baseball. I work full time at the time, single dad. I don't have the time for an MMO. Like by the time like the boys put to bed and dinner and everything's been done, it's like I don't have time to invest in the character and grinding and leveling up. I just want to go play Gears of War or Overwatch with friends online. So I never got into those games, but it looks like a good old time for ESO fans. So ESO fans out there, definitely check it out. Probably something you really love. And this was a surprise to me that this was in the game showcase, because when you think Metal Gear, you usually think PlayStation, because I mean that's where it started. The first two games were on PlayStation. Two later got ported to the Xbox or Xbox 360. I don't know if it was the remaster collection or if the Xbox got a copy of two. And then we got Twin Snakes on the GameCube. But when you think, when you think Metal Gear, you think PlayStation. So you'd have thought that would have been their summer showcase thing last week, but no, it was they saved it for Xbox, and we finally got some in-game footage of it. It looks awesome. David Hayter is back as Snake's voice. Remember, we lost him for 5. We got Kiefer Sutherland, which I think was a good voice for Big Boss also. And kind of my thought, even though he also voiced the real Big Boss and the fake Big Boss. Spoilers for a game that's like 10 years old. I think had they had David Hayter voice the actual in-game Big Boss, since you know Solid and Liquid are clones of him, and then you had Kiefer Sutherland voice Venomous Snake, that would have been kind of a cool like hint early on that you know we weren't playing as the actual Big Boss, we were playing as his surrogate, kind of thing like that. But no, David Hayter's back in Snake Eater. The game looks gorgeous. I've only been, so I've played, beaten 1, beaten 2, beaten 5, did not beat 4, just did not have the time for all those cutscenes. I gotta go back to 4 whenever it gets re-released. I've dabbled and thought about buying a PlayStation 3 just to play that game again, but I'm fingers crossed we're gonna get Volume 2 of the Metal Gear collection, and I'll just get to play it on a modern console. 3, I've been about halfway through. My playthrough got interrupted like a while ago, and I just haven't gone back to that. So I've got the Metal Gear collection. I actually got the HD collection for the 360, and then I've got the Greatest Hits collection Volume 1 on my PlayStation 5. And it's one of those things I'm going to be streaming to in the near future, replaying that because I haven't played that since it first came out on the PlayStation 2. But it's like, do I play the original 3, or do I wait for Snake Eater? I think next year is when it's kind of planned to come out, and play that with the modern controls, because I do like Metal Gear Solid's 5 control scheme for the Metal Gear games over the original kind of tank-like controls that the Metal Gear series had for a while. So I don't know. It's one of those things I'll debate. I think I'm gonna wait, since I haven't beaten the game and I kind of know the full story but haven't seen it all play out. I think I'm gonna wait for the updated graphics and the updated gameplay and play it that way. But who knows? I might get impatient and want to play after playing through 2. Might be like, oh, I'm gonna go right into 3. I might do that, but no. Snake Eater looks awesome. Can't wait for it. Love that David Hayter's back voicing Snake. He is always the definitive Snake for me. So yeah, can't wait for that game. That's gonna be awesome next year. Next up, Fallout 76 Sky Valley downloadable content. Even though I love the Fallout games, I wanted to play Fallout 76 when it first came out, even in spite of all the bad reviews. But for whatever reason, like my Bethesda account could not be verified. I kept trying to play, and it just like, nope, you gotta do this, and I would do all the steps to try to fix my account, and then it came to, you gotta call. I was like, I don't care that much. It's an MMO. I'm probably gonna drop it in a couple months. I'm not jumping through all these hoops to get my Bethesda account fixed because of whatever reason. So I never did play Fallout 76. After playing Fallout, or after watching the Fallout series, I got interested. I was like, nah, I don't want to pay a monthly fee to play it. But Skyline Valley looks cool. You can play as a ghoul now, which you could never do in a Fallout game before. So I know a lot of people are excited about that, especially after the ghoul in the Fallout series, TV series. So hey, Fallout 76 fans, more content coming from you. I'm glad Bethesda didn't give up on that game, because it was a dumpster fire when it came out. So I'm just glad they continue making it and continued improving on it for those fans of that game, and it seems to be pretty good now. Speaking of live services, Sea of Thieves Season 13 was shown. It's a Sea of Thieves games. I did enjoy Sea of Thieves when it first came out. Me and my friends, we loved pirating the ship, And that was like when it was bare bones and we were having fun. And now they've added all this stuff to it. I've thought about going back, but kind of like I've said previously in this podcast is I don't have the time for those type of games anymore. Like, generally speaking, I'll get a couple hours to play video games a week, and I usually play single player story driven games with that time because those are what I really enjoy playing and I've always really enjoyed playing. And plus, like, we're all adult. Me and my friends are all adults now. Most of us are parents now. We don't have the same schedules like back when we were in our teens and our 20s. We just call each other up. Hey, we're playing Gears. Hey, we're playing Halo. We're playing this. Hop online. We could all just get online and play till like 4 in the morning, be fine the next day, kind of thing like that. That ain't how it is anymore for us old folks. So just like I said, Gears of War, I'm probably going to get the band back together, but outside of that, I'm not going to hop into the new Sea of Thieves. But it looks cool. It looks fun. I'm glad Rare is continuing to support that. I'm glad Rare still is open because that's one of my all-time favorite studios. Next up is Atomfall. Atomfall had a weird Fallout vibe to it. Not much story shown, but a couple of different kind of cool things to it. I'm looking forward to more from that. Not much to say on it until now, new IP, but that's going to be Game Pass day one. I can't wait to see more stuff dropped about that because as a Fallout fan, I'm intrigued by some of the stuff in there that's very Fallout-like, so I'm interested in it. Flintlock. That looks to be like a Souls-type game, but you get a pistol and rapiers and all kinds of cool things like that. Looked really cool from the trailer. I can't wait to see more. And again, being a Game Pass game, I'll probably check it out when it drops and just see if I like it or not. And I'll stream it and see if I like it. Winterboro, little artsy indie game where you play as a mouse. Even though that's a Game Pass game, probably not going to try that out unless it's one of those Game Pass games where like, get 50 points for getting this achievement. So in that case, I might try it. And then Fragpunk, another hero shooter where this genre became overbloated years ago and they keep making games for it. The card system kind of looks cool for it, so it's going to be something, not a Game Pass game, so I'll probably pass on it. Don't have time to play all those multiplayer shooter games anymore, and the hero shooter has just kind of passed me by. Last up, Mech Break. It looks like the Gundam Wing game we always wanted. It looks like a very Gundam-ish game. I was thinking when I was just watching the trailer that it was a single-player game, but it looks like it's an online multiplayer game. So that's a game that I might pick up on a discount just to give it a try. Looks pretty cool. And then, so that's it for the games. Like I said, then they announced new systems that you're going to get an all-digital Xbox Series X. Hey, thumbs up. That was cool there. Apple iMovie. Didn't know that happened. And then you're going to get a 2 terabyte Series X that has a disc in it. So new systems coming out. So they're still supporting the hardware, which was cool. Like I said, that was the precursor to E-Day being shown off. So overall, this was an awesome showcase. I went into it with very low expectations. I was like, we'll probably get the new Doom. That will look cool. Probably get to see Perfect Dark. That will probably look cool. Gear 6, which I'm glad we're getting E-Day over Gear 6. So I do want to get Gear 6. So maybe we just finish that trilogy off. Because I do kind of want to see the end to that story. But finish that trilogy off and then maybe do some more Pendulum War stuff from our E-Day stuff. And we go back to Marcus and Dom because those are the guys we really got attached to. And then, Baird, Coltrane, things like that. But yeah, that's going to wrap up. In the comments, let me know what you thought of the showcase. Good, bad, A, B, C, D, F, if you want to give it that lower grade. I thought this was definitely an A showcase. A lot of cool games. Like I said, 18 games coming to Game Pass, and I would say close to 18 games that I'm excited for, and they're not all the Game Pass games. So a lot of cool games I'm looking forward to. Can't wait to try out a lot of these games. Can't wait to hear more about Indiana Jones, Gears of War, Doom, and Metal Gear. So let me know what your favorite games were. Those were kind of my favorite games that were announced. Indiana Jones and I think Doom are my 2 favorites no, take that back. Indiana Jones, Doom, and Gears, top 3 games out of there. Metal Gear looks really cool. I can't wait for that. I'm a big Metal Gear fan too, but we knew about that game, so I was less excited to see that other than see these other 3. So yeah, let me know what you like, and stay tuned for more stuff. I'm trying to put out stuff daily, whether it's streams, whether it's reviews, contents, things like that. Let me know what you think of this format for the podcast, and I'll have another one coming up next week. Take it easy. Bye.